Well, let's go ahead and get started. So, the featured stamp set again today is Heron Habitat. I really like it because here in the Skagit Valley in Washington, it's a nesting place for the blue heron. And so for me, this was a natural to order. It was my first item that I ordered from the new annual catalog. And so I'm going to be using this stamp set, and then I bought the oceanfront because it goes along perfectly with the heron habitat. The two work together so well, and that's one of the things I love about Stampin' Up! Is that their stamp sets coordinate and work together in so many different ways, just like their color combinations and their colors are designed to coordinate with each other. So let's get started. I want to show you the finished card. It's this one. And these are Slimline cards. The basic measurement is 7 inches this way and 6 1/4 or slightly under 6 1/4 this way. And those measurements fit into a standard envelope like this. So it fits into the envelope very nicely. It's a unique shape, and I kind of like it for that reason. The only thing is, it does use paper because there are scraps left over from an 8.5 by 11. So you got to take your pick whether the scraps though you can use for stamping these items. So it's not wasted. It's just that you get one card out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So this is the basic one. This is what we're going to be building. And I started with part of it done so that I wouldn't bore you, because some of these details are just doing it. So I used balmy blue, and I used our blending brushes, and I did the sky. And I'm going to show you a little more with the Sahara sand, which is the sand portion of it. And when you use these blending brushes, there's a bit of a technique to it. You can either brush some off onto your scrap paper, or if you are careful, you can just lightly do it and then increase the pressure to add more ink. So you just start lightly and then increase the pressure. If you did like this and started, you get a great big blob. And that happens to me a lot. Kind of like here is a little bit darker. So I'll take a little bit off there and try to blend it out a bit. Okay, so that's how I got the background. And I should probably work it closer to the sky. See if I can build that up a little more across there. Now that's a little bit better. On the sample card, I used crumb cake. That's really kind of dark sand, and I decided that I wanted to use Sahara sand instead on the final card. So I wanted to add some pebbles to give some texture to the sand, and this stamp set, this comes from the oceanfront. Let me show you. The oceanfront, and that's where this little pebbly type stamp comes from. Just kind of randomly stamp. I try to kind of make it all solid, but I don't know that it's that important that it's all. And you can stamp over, like it's kind of not enough there, so you just kind of randomly stamp it on and off the paper. To give some more texture to the like that. Now in the Habitat, the Heron Habitat, there's this stamp that has the cattails on it. And there's a little bit of a trick to coloring the cattails. Okay, where did my stamp go? Oh, here it is. Let me position this a little bit better. There. Okay, so I've got 3 colors I'm going to use. I'm going to use Mossy Meadow, Soft Suede, and Early Espresso. Use the brush tip and just brush the stamp with the colors. This is called Direct to Rubber. Yeah, that's right. I was afraid I'd used the wrong color there. And this is the soft suede for the stems and the soil there. And the Mossy Meadow. Mossy Meadow is one of my favorite greens. Then you re-moisten it by huffing and you stamp. And then you get your multicolor. And I did half of it already because it takes a little bit of time to re-ink each time. And I didn't want to bore you. This is a handy technique to do if you don't have a large collection of stamp pads, but you do have the markers. For coloring, I generally prefer using the Stampin' Blends, but this technique does not work with Stampin' Blends. Stampin' Blends would make it permanent when they stamp because they're alcohol inks. So I have markers because of this in particular. And then if you want to make it look like there's more in a distance, you can stamp it a second time and it makes a fainter image. Do one more and call it good. Always huff on it to re-moisten your ink. Kind of like good luck, maybe, for good luck. Okay, so I've got the cattails there, and I have, to save time, I have stamped out and die cut these seagulls. And we're going to create a squabble. I looked it up, and a collection of seagulls is called a squabble. I think that is so appropriate because when you hear them, oh my goodness, they sound like they're arguing like crazy. And this is this stamp that I used for that, and the coordinating dies. Let me show you the dies. So this is the coordinating Heron die set, and it has the die for the large standing heron. It has a die for the cattails. Now you could cut these out if you wanted to. You could cut them out of basic white. No, stamp it first. You have to stamp it first because the outline would be kind of strange if you didn't have the stamp there. There's a die for the flying heron. This die, can you see the embossing? That's for just having greenery, but it's embossed so that the details are there. Very cool. Then we have a series of dies, four little ones, and they also have an embossing in them, and a little bit bigger one, so that you can really create quite a grassy area using these dies. Has a couple of nice label dies, and this is a wave die. For some reason, I do not know why, but it is short. Let me get a card here. I suppose they were figuring you would, well, it works across that way, but if you were doing a horizontal one, it's a little bit short. So you would have to use it on a layer. I guess it was designed for the landscape type ones. So that's the die set, and I love it. I particularly like these labels because they have little heart shapes cutouts. Oh, come on. Ah, come on. See little hearts on the ends. So that's the horizontal one, and the vertical one. I'll find it. The vertical one, this fits this one, and this one fits the others. Okay, so I'm just going to stick these birds on. Some of them popped up and some of them not. And I used the Sahara sand because some seagulls are not dark. I think they might be immature ones. And I think I'll just use liquid glue to put the bulk of them on. Could use glue dots. So we're creating a okay, what did I call it? Squabble. A squabble of seagulls. Because they're usually in a group. Anyway, there's usually a bunch of them. One thing about our dies, they're designed so that if you line them up to just go around the outline, you will get a perfect white thing around the edge. You can see some places I did fairly well, other places not so well. I think I'll use a bigger one on this guy. So we'll pop that one up for some dimension. Okay, now let's stamp a couple of birds. This set has a couple of little birds there, and I'm going to do them with the basic gray so they show up a little better. There, we'll do that. then for the greeting, I need my snail. I mean my Stampin' Seal. Put a little bit of seal along there to hold the ribbon down. Like that. Let's trim this one down. It's a little bit long. And our label. Pop it up with Stampin' Dimensionals. And we have a very nice happy birthday. Now, let me move that over because that's really off too far over to the side. There. So which do you like? Do you like the darker sand or the lighter sand? I kind of like them both. So anyway, that's one card. Now I wanted to show you a different orientation for the card. Last week I made this one, and this one featured more the ocean front with these things. So I'm going to be using it mostly with that, but I'm going to add the large heron instead of having the little birds, the seagulls there. So let's start that one. Again, we're using a card base of 7 by 6 1/4, folded in half, a 3 1/2. And I liked in this card, I liked the combination of the white with the brown. I like the whole layout of this. But with the Slimline card, I was not sure that I would have enough room on the card to get all 3 colors in. So I made the card base out of soft suede. And these are 3 1/4 by 6. One is for the inside because it's dark, and one's for the outside. So we'll start with the outside. And I've got some of my stamps of the stamps. Let me find the others. The in. Okay, I'm losing it here. Where's that stamp set? I just had it in my hands. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I've got this piece is the sand, the water. And I need the sand. I'll put that on the back of this. And take the, I need those 2. Okay, so we got one on one side and one on the other. Now to find the sky. Found it. So the colors I'm going to use for this are the balmy blue for the sky, and these stamps are designed to look like watercolor wash. And on my sample card, okay, so that's the sample card. I'm going to start up here and hope that I get it all inked. Have to, for some reason, my particular stamp, I have to really press hard to get it. Well, still left a hole. Try that again. This is where having a stamp apparatus would be very handy. Well, that's going to have to be it, I guess. I'm wondering if that's a flaw in the stamp. Okay, then we're going to have the water. This is balmy blue. It does get lighter as it dries. And for the water, I apologize. This is retired stamp ink pad, Seaside Spray, but it is the perfect color for ocean water, because ocean water is not like balmy blue. Okay, so the ocean or the lake, and hopefully I'll get the horizons matched. Yeah, and that came out better. And finally, the sand along the side. Again, I'm using Sahara sand. Because these are photopolymer stamps and you can see through them, you can get by with using two on the, oh, get the orientation right. You can get by with using two. Huh. Do I have the wrong side up? I have been known to do that before. Nope. Okay. Oh, there we go. I'm not scoring very well today. There. Okay. Now the need to have, I got a little bit down there, but that's okay. I'm going to cover it up using this background stamp, this little pebbly stamp. We'll just put some down there. Problem solved. So this creates, because usually along the water edge you'll have very smooth sand, and then it graduates into a pebbly. So this works just right. And I wanted to have ink down here for grounding the heron, so he wasn't just standing on white air. There. That will do. And then I'm going to use the grasses, and I'm going to use garden green for them this time. If you think my stamp area here is messy, you should see my stamping table. Creativity does not take time to straighten up in between activities. So because These are photopolymer stamps. I can see through to see where I am placing the stamp that's on the back side. Put one more on there. There. Okay, so we're going to pop this heron up with a few Stampin' Dimensionals. Down here his feet are so small, I'm going to cut one of them. Actually, I'm going to cut a sliver from the edge here. To put down on his feet. There. These are slightly smaller in depth than the regular Stampin' Dimensionals. They're mini, both in depth and in height. Let me see if I can show you. Let me put one next to each other. Well, I think I'm mistaken. Looks to me like they're the same height. Okay, I was wrong. So I could have used a large one for his body. I guess it's just perception. Since they're small, they looked like they were thinner. On, up. Well, for Pete's sake, why are you being stubborn today? There. So there's the heron, and we'll put our greeting. I need to tie a bow using thread, the linen thread, for a little bit of a bow at the top of the greeting here. Come on. Pardon the noise in the background. My husband's in the kitchen making tea. Yeah, for Pete's sake. Tying bows is not my strong forte, especially when you're doing it live. Come on, stubborn thing. There, finally. Adjust the lengths here. And trim the ends. And use a Stampin' Dimensional to pop it on. Now, I could cover up that boo-boo, and I think I will. Come on. Okay, and we're going to put those birds in. There they are. I don't want them to be gray. I mean, I don't want them to be green. So we'll put that away. I want them to be the basic gray. There. So we'll add it to our card base with seal. And then on the inside, I stamped the seagull. We'll do that. For a little bit of decoration on the back. And we're going to make him smoky slate, not brown. I like that color better. You can stamp a greeting on the inside if you want, or you can handwrite one. I generally leave it blank and just write something or choose a greeting at the last minute. I make a lot of these cards. You're in my thoughts today because we have, I like to send them to the people that are elderly that aren't able to make it to worship. So there you have it. We have a landscape size, 3.5 Slimline, and we have a vertical one using the Heron Habitat stamp set bundle and also the oceanfront. They pair up together so nicely. Thank you for watching. This is Sue, the Soggy Stamper. If you have any questions, email me, sue@soggystamper.com. My blog is soggystamper.com. And like I said earlier, this video will be on my YouTube channel, The Soggy Stamper, this afternoon. And if you need any of these products, my store is creationsbysue.stampinup.net. And I would love to have you as a customer if you live here in the United States and don't already have a demonstrator. And we have a new catalog, plus a new mini catalog that's coming out the 1st of June. So if you would like one, send me an email here with your name, your phone number, and your mailing address, and I'd be delighted to send you one for free. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again next Friday at 3 o'clock. Bye-bye.